siphoning the money into their pocket.
So the groundnut.
The farmers are very, very productive, very sincere to the job, no much laziness. And so the total revenue being generated by the North is about double what is being generated in the South.
Is it the laziness that the northern establishment is panicking now? You talked about the senators, House of Rep, governors, and all that. Shouting on top of their voices. They don't want the formula to be altered of sort, or they are asking for more consultations.
Frankly speaking, I don't want to go into the north side dichotomy. I want to address the matter from the Nigerian perspective.
So your final words to the north and to Nigeria, how do you approach this?
The bill should be amended. Items that are not proper for Nigeria should remove. Items that are wrongly captured, they should be corrected. And then items that have not been brought into the bill to make this tax system very good should be brought into it.
Do you think the National Assembly can do this alone, or they should subject it to public scrutiny?
That's it. When they subject
it to, go back to the drawing board.
That's a very good recommendation, that there's a need for public scrutiny. People should be given the chance to interrogate the bills and bring forward their own suggestions for improving its quality. Allow them to bring in ideas that should go into the bill in the best interest of the Nigerian people. So these are things that should be done.
And
no matter how long it will take us to do that, how to bear with the situation. We shouldn't be in a hurry. We want to have
it mustn't start on 1st January 2020.
No. That may not be possible.
Thank you very much.
It's going to be fair to Nigeria.
Thank you very much, Professor Kabiru Dandago from Bayero University. Kano, for your informed perspective on these contentious issues. I will have to have you some other time. Thank you for coming to the program.
Thank you.
And viewers, we are going on a short break. Don't go away. The program continues in a moment.
Should I keep quiet? And then we kept saying, can't we teach these people basic business, not hustling? Teach our people entrepreneurship, not hustling. Go to China, Guangzhou, different districts. They can turn fair. Am I saying what you don't know?
Yes, and you know why? Because we are coming from a sort of despite the narrative, anti-corruption. But you know, the anti-corruption agencies went to sleep in the last 8 years.
However, if you are to go backwards and do a kind of audit, you will be shocked to find that the resources so far expended on the SDGs far outstrips the achievements face to face.
Most of the time when you are involved, it's difficult for you to draw back and have a holistic view. Because what? Sentiment would always come to play, because all of us would definitely, I had, like I told you yesterday, I was 100% convinced that you cannot say you are qualified without bringing any document.
On my Instagram, and people said, "Oh, you write?" I said, "I didn't know I could write."
People don't let calamity, be the end of you. If you survive, take something out of it.
That's good.
So he's that kind of person that all he wants is to see that Nigeria has changed for a better place. That's all he's after.
Authors, sometimes you come to realize the message you're trying to convey through your books is not exactly what you really
use names that reflect your indigenous culture and your language, because our names carries our history.
I could put this thing that I could write, I could start writing. sometimes I'll write it in another book, and when I get home, I'll transfer it to you.
Viewers, once again, welcome back to Sunday Politics on Trust TV. If you are just joining, you are watching Daily Politics, of course. Sunday Politics on Trust TV, coming live from our studio here in Abuja. And in the first segment of the program, of course, we hosted Professor Tukur Hussaini, Professor of Policy Analysis from Nasarawa State University, who opened the conversation with definition of taxation, who should pay tax, why people are not paying tax. And then the second part, it was Professor Kabiru Dandago, a lecturer of accountancy from Bayero University, Kano, who spoke on some contentious issues also, especially in relation to inheritance, and then why there are some gaps in the whole document, especially in relation to the rich, who have not been adequately captured in the document. Now, in this aspect, we have two eminent guests in the studio. Baba Yusuf, Strategist Policy Advisor and the Group CEO of Global Investment and Trade Company. He's here with us to also discuss some of these issues. And we also have Nuruddin Hamayaro, is an entrepreneur and politician. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining the train.
Thank you.
Of course, it has been fireworks, I keep saying this, in the last 2 weeks or thereabout, especially in relation to the tax system. Baba Yusuf, I have to start with you being the first, on my left. And we are shifting a bit to the haste in passing the bill. Are you comfortable? Because a senator personally spoke to us saying it's unfounded anywhere in the provisions of the proceedings of the National Assembly for the president to now say the Attorney General should come and sit side by side with legislators to accommodate gray areas. The senator said the ideal thing was for the president to withdraw the bills in their entirety, take it to whoever he wants to take it, to work on it, and then represent it as an executive bill. Are you in tune with that senator? Of course, he doesn't want his name to be mentioned.
Okay, thank you for having me. To give a bit of background, I think what is very important for me is that I'm a proponent of this tax reform, and I'm a northerner. I think we need to step back and look at this entire issue from an eagle-eye perspective, Hamza.
Okay.
The senator, with all due respect to him, with profound respect to him and his colleagues, that is talking about the hastiness of the issue on one side. I will address that, and I'll come and address the issue of the president's directive that the Attorney General should engage at this point. First of all, here we are in Nigeria, and specifically the contentious issue is most especially, on the northern side with regards to northern Nigerians. We have political class that cherry pick what to agitate about or what to be active. They are now suddenly activists. Where were they when the national anthem bill was passed at the speed of light?
Maybe because it isn't important.
Hold on. You see, that is the cherry pick I'm talking about. This has to do with our identity. This has to do with our nationalism. And if we start cherry picking issues to say this is not important, this is important, then maybe we should not have a legislature at all. That National Assembly is called the hallowed chamber. And whatever goes there that has to do with the life and livelihoods of Nigerians should be taken seriously. So you cannot select what to fast track and what not to fast track. in that regard. That is why you always don't set a bad precedence. Okay. Now, here we are with a contentious issue, and there is the same people are now speaking from another corner of the mouth to say we are hastening the issue. Secondly, the issue of the director, Mr. President, I humbly, my understanding of that directive is different.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm not holding brief for Mr. President, but I'm also aware I read the news bit. My understanding is that the Attorney General can engage, for example, the Presidential Committee on Tax Reform and other stakeholders and start looking at the gray areas. I am aware we have interest groups already, like the League of Northern
Compatriots and all.
Democrats and all those, have already started, you know, taking the steps that we were telling them to take ab initio before going to town and opposing this bill, to review the bill and see the areas that they should, you know, make provisions or make suggestions or whatever. That is what Mr. President is saying. Not that the Attorney General should engage the Senate at this point. This is a legislative matter. Now, we have public hearings coming up. My understanding is whether the Attorney General engages the Presidential Committee and other stakeholders at the public hearing level, people will come and make their inputs at that point in time. And that is why I was not happy to hear people saying reject the bill, because it will paint us as people that do not understand what it means to look at a document, go through the document, and put our position from a strategic perspective and say, this area, for example, the issue whether it is antithetical to Islam, or even whether those areas that are taxable, as Northerners, we have identified other areas that we believe should be included in the VAT that will also give us an advantage. So when you throw it away,
the baby and the bad,
you have lost advantage. And this is a country where we have other regions, other ethnicities, and other religions, even in the north. So as far as I'm concerned, the process is already enshrined in the provisions of the National Assembly. I'm not the one to rewrite the law for them. But this lesson from today is, if you know that you cannot sustain a process, then you don't start cherry picking and tell me that National Assembly is not as important as tax, bill. That means the hallowed chamber are playing tricks with Nigerians. Whatever goes before the hallowed chamber should be dealt with in line with the process. And if you read what I wrote in my column day before yesterday, I said integrity of the process is also key. And I called on government to say, and of course Mr. President has backtracked now to say, let us start engaging. The engagement should continue, but not with the legislature, with the Attorney General. Whoever, all the stakeholders in northern Nigeria and southern Nigeria can do the needful with regards to reviewing the bill in line with how it affects the people, and then take it to the National Assembly at public hearing level, or write their position paper to debate, like I said, debate, engage, debate, consult, and negotiate where necessary so that we can move forward. Let me land with this. A bill is not already a law, right? This bill may fail. For example, if the Northerners come with a strong position, the other sectors may say, you know what, let's leave it as status quo.
Just the way they do what
yes. And I can tell you later, there are provisions that I thought the North should also put in forward as a counter offer.
Okay, we'll come to that, yes. Hamero, I can see you nodding your head. Is it an agreement or disagreement with what Baba Yusuf said? I brought a question, and we spoke, I personally spoke with that senator.
A bit of both.
In confidence, yes, that it's like the president is being clever by half. Instead of withdrawing the bill in its entirety, go and do diligence and then present it again. He said, okay, the Attorney General should go and work hand in hand. It's like taking pigeon to be with parrots or something like that.
So I will speak as the politician that you introduced me.
Yes.
And that is a very good background to speak from. And I agree partially with what Baba my brother here says.
Yes.
But completely I'm against anything now that will put burden on Nigerians, because we already have a lot on our table. People are suffering. You can only give, you can only take after you have given. It's a simple logic. This is just my argument. You cannot continue to tax Nigerians when there is not so much with them. People are already grappling with the effect of the subsidy removal. Our currency has become virtually a nightmare to us. 100,000 naira before that you earn will give you a living, and that you save after your expenditure. You hardly now even fuel your car with it in a month. So when you want to talk about VAT, we have a lot of areas in our economy that has not yet been improved. We have a lot, Hamza. For crying out loud, we have a lot. Tell me which state in our country, 36 plus FCT, that the federal government has provided incentive or has worked in collaboration with the state government, to provide infrastructure with a view to, exploring the potentials of those states, which consequently will bring about employment, will increase in their revenue generation, and then when you have all this put in place, for God's sake, this is governance. So my own challenge is you cannot run Nigeria as a company. I know it comes with its good side, and my problem with this is I'm an APC member.
Yes, I wanted to remind you.
Yes, you don't need to remind me. My problem with this is administering a full dose of whatever policy you have that seeks to create, put damage to our own people is not advisable. When you want to bring about a policy, this tax comes in 4 phases, in 4 segments.
Yes.
There is a part that even my brother here, Baba Yusuf, mentioned, that, okay, not even him. There is a part of it that people look at it as of advantage. For example, the derivation we are talking about. I cannot be making call from my village, Mayobelwa in Adamawa State, and then Lagos State gets to enjoy the VAT. I cannot buy credit while in Gombe, and then Lagos State gets to enjoy the VAT of MTN. You understand? So I agree with that. But the part I don't agree is where you want to put pressure on the masses when you have not given so much. Allow these states, most of them today are virtually only waiting for their own allocation, pay salary, and wait till the
But do you blame Tinubu for that?
I don't blame Tinubu. There's a 2 sides of the coin. We are not talking about the other side.
Yes.
I was one time with you people here, and I condemn what our state governors, particularly in the north, are doing. Because now this little policy has exposed their inadequacies. We receive money, pay salary, and do what we want to do, not to the advantage of the state. Now it is raining, and there is nowhere to hide.
No umbrella.
No umbrella. They are not ready, because imagine if most of our northern states today are economically viable. Imagine if the employment rate, the rate of education, the rate of industrialization, whatever it is you want to look at in this life is inadequacy with those states. There won't be much complaint. But it has come like, it comes to them like a surprise and saying, I'm not ready for this. How do I cope? Yes, I agree partially with them, because government is not about an individual, it's about the people. Remember, it's democracy, Hamza, we are talking about. And as enshrined in a doctrine, it's of the people, by the people, and for the people. So if you want to bring a policy like this, as sensitive as it is, for God's sake, let it undergo a proper, pattern. Let the people get to understand, where do I get to benefit from this, so that there will be a proper alignment. Okay. And if there is a deficiency, how do I remediate this? But there is no much education about an average person in the northern Nigeria today. If you sit him down and when you want to talk to him about this tax reform, he doesn't know anything. Mind you, we have lack of food sufficiency. Is there a much reform about that? We have lack of energy, affordability and availability. Do we have reforms to support that? We have educational system that is decaying. We need reform about that. Yes, they have tried about the NEL fund. But if you look at some aspect of this tax reform, is virtually saying third fund in the near future will be extinct.
Yeah, it will disappear.
And NEL fund will be left. And you know the disadvantage of that?
No.
Borrowing people money to educate themselves is a burden. It's not an advantage.
And it was told that the policy is not even working in other places. It's not working. But before we go deep into that, Baba Yusuf, I want you to come in here. He raised some fundamental issues, like the president is, racing against time. This issue of tax and all that shouldn't have come. He should have allowed or ensure that people, see the benefit of subsidy removal, benefit of floating the naira. People are still trying to recover from those shocks.
Absolutely.
And now that is why they don't even trust that the tax reform bills will produce any, legitimate child of sort.
Thank you very much. First of all, let me go back to this issue of, you see, like I said, the North needs to be strategic. We are not the only ones in this country. I have staked my life for this country, my grandfather, my father. We should speak out. It is time for what I call the Northern Reawakening, Hamza. If we don't do that, we'll be left in the motor park. Now, the entire bill, there's a very sore point of it is the increase in VAT. Why not the Northern elites and the intellectuals like us sit down and do a counter? That's the counter I'm saying. Okay, tick, 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 this is allowed. In the present VAT regime, we allow it to continue with the allocation by derivation or consumption. But we don't agree with increment to 7.5%, for example, until such a time that the economy improves. We take that, we move. That is my position. So in a way, you
are giving them
free consultation. Yes. Secondly, we need to understand the dynamics of this, and that is why the political class has been taking us for a ride, Hamza. Education, 70% of the responsibility of providing education in Nigeria is the responsibility of the states. Third Fund is talking about tertiary institution. The rate of education that is most in the North is at the primary level and the secondary level. What are the governors doing? We talk about interventions. I don't want to sound like a spokesperson of APC. He's a member of APC. I'm not. Yes. But I try to balance this for Nigeria.
He's actually giving them.
I want to balance it for Nigeria because for me, it's about Nigeria. It's not about, after all, like I say many times, Nigerian politicians are the same actors in different costumes. So it's not that. But let's dimension this thing properly. When subsidy was increased, they are Northern Nigeria. Our governors with profound respect didn't kick against it. Why? Because they were collecting double allocation. The question is, have we asked them as citizens, what have they done with that money? I feel very ashamed, and I'm saying with all sorts of responsibility, that any governor in Nigeria will dare say today, if there's tax reform, they cannot pay salary. It is unfortunate. We should have a fear of God. What if those states are federal republics on their own? What will happen? If those states are federal republics on their own and COVID happened, what will happen? This president has been giving them double. But because they were together, they didn't come to say, people is against the North. They were pocketing the money. Over 100 billion. I may be wrong, but over 100 billion has been allocated by federal government to states as palliative interventions. 5 billion per state, trucks of rice and whatever. What has happened to that? You see, it has come to a point whereby we should recognize that as Nigerians, when we are looking, when you are driving, a good driver looks at the rear view mirror and the side mirrors as you are looking ahead. We should look at our colleagues at the other side. They are guilty of the same, but the approach is different. Now you have governors have suddenly become activists. As a typical Northerner, I will start becoming suspicious of those people that are rent-seeking commission collection, and they keep quiet, and now they are shouting they want to cheat you. Because that is how they have been doing to us for many years. We have produced more presidents and heads of state than any region in Nigeria, yet we are the most backwards. Why? Because at the subnationals, and indeed even those representing us at the federal, are not representing us adequately. And that is where we should start holding governors to account. And then at the same time, take our destiny in our hands. My brother here should go through the bill. I should go through the bill. Like I said, these are my observations. And for example, the items that are supposed to be taxed, are there items that are exempted from tax that we, the Northerners, should say we should tax them? Because if we do, it will catalyze, more revenue for us. For example, this is how we should think and reposition. And if other parties see that, This thing is not, they will say, keep it like that. Or if it happens, it is for the betterment of the country. But I will line with this at this point in time.
Finally,
the point is this.
Yes.
The point is this. Even whether or not this tax reform is undertaken, unless the citizens in the north start holding their political leaders to account, especially these governors, it will get worse and worse and worse. The issue of insecurity, the issue of lack of education and health issues and all that is the core responsibilities of our governors. And if these northern governors, as they are kicking against it now, hold the president to account, because indeed majority of them are APC, then we may not be seeing what we are seeing. So as far as I'm concerned, we as citizens of the North, not the political leaders, not the traditional institution or the religious institution, with due respect to them, because as far as I'm concerned, I see a conspiracy of silence, selective silence on issues that concern Nigerians. We can read and write. Let me give you an instance. Do you know that I heard about a group, in a WhatsApp group, that northern intellectuals subjected the bill to AI? And then you come out and write position papers and you are quoting sections of the bill that I have seen does not tally with what is in the bill. So let us be serious about it. The VAT doesn't have to be increased, but we should put a counter position that is in the best interest of the North, but that is balanced for Nigeria. We don't have to increase the VAT, but the reform will help us at the end of the day. And accountability for the governors and indeed the president is very key.
All right, Hamaero, what is your take? You can see Southern senators towards the end of last week, they said they aligned themselves. They called themselves Southern Senators Forum or things like that. While the Northern senators, people like Indume, Ningi, and others, because they are more vocal, but they said they have quite a number in support of withdrawing, that the president should withdraw the bills. Where do Nigerians, belong to this? Because it's like it is taking a regional dimension. Is it a recipe for more trouble for the downtrodden who are finding it difficult to feed?
In politics, there is always the two sides of the coin. It has always been like that. So
there is nothing wrong in that?
There is nothing wrong in that. What is most important is that we have a nation that we want to see develop. We have a nation that we want to see its citizens are employed. We have a nation that we want to see life is affordable for all. Now, but to achieve that, government has to be mindful of how it dishes out its policies. This is my own concern. And if Indume is saying withdrawal is not in totality, yes. When Senator Indume says, what is the need of the hurry?
Give it time.
We applauded this initiative, but there are gray areas, just like my brother here have admitted as well. There are gray areas in this tax. Withdrawing it temporarily, subject it to the right steps. Allow people to understand what it stands for and how they benefit. Then we can bring it back to the table and all will align to it. But rushing it when some people are already not comfortable with it, it does not make any sense. And that is why I'm making a comparison for you with, if there is anything to rush now in Nigeria, is to rush and put food on the table of Nigerians to eat, because people are hungry.
But government needs money to
I understand, but how do you want to take money from people you have not given much? How do you take
Is it that you don't agree with the claim that if you earn certain amount, is it 800,000, or that you will not be taxed, and that SMEs, they will be exempted?
There is no exemption. These are services. The only way you run government is through this taxation. But you can only tax reasonably. You don't put too much burden on your citizens. Put it to the extent they can bear, because doing it the other way would not even help you. And why my brothers in the north are complaining, and I agree, as much as I blame the governors, I'm always not comfortable with what the northern governors are doing. I am not comfortable at all, because you get to see we have a state governor who only pays salary and nothing. He waits for the next month. He never cares about it. All he knows is after his 8 years, he would extend his position to the Senate,
to go
where he will seek for immunity and continue to stay until another person throws him out of the place. You understand? So holding them accountable, ensuring that they concentrate on things that would define the future of our generation yet unborn is essential. But at the same time, the federal government now, under the leadership of this president, he means well for Nigeria, but he should do it in a manner that will not be destructive.
All right, Baba Yusuf, I want you to come in here. You see, ordinary Nigerians, if you look at it, it's like they have given up.
Yeah.
Is it lack of trust?
Yeah.
Because ideally, most of the letters, I said it earlier, most of the letters we received, phone calls, text messages and all that, people are just asking, what is it about?
Yes.
It's like it is the elite that are fighting among themselves.
Thank you very much.
And that to greater extent they have given up. Exactly. Is it justified that they have given up?
Absolutely. Let me pull that out of your mouth. And that is what I'm saying here. You see, and I'm happy we have gotten to this level. The trust deficit is a function of the serial failure of the political class. The governors, the senators, the House of Reps, and the state legislature.
And the president.
Of course, the president is the apex. The president is a product of the combination of the whole, right? And if the input of the governors is the output of Mr. President, so there is a total collapse or deficiency of trust. But let me backtrack. What you said is, what is it all about? It is our responsibility. Well, for me, let me speak for myself. That is why it was my responsibility.
You keep researching.
You know me, people know me, they know my background. I downloaded the bill and went through it page by page. And I'll tell you what. The vulnerable 133 million Nigerians are declared multidimensionally poor. 70% are in northern Nigeria. The bill says the entire vulnerable are exempted. You can read it in the bill. I'm coming to that.
But do you agree? Because I don't want
Well, excuse me.
Yes.
I read the bill, Hamza. Let's talk like mature people here. There is a bill before us, okay? And if that is what they wrote in the bill, right, it is our responsibility to do two things. I will mark it with red and say, reconfirm, you presidential chairman, whatever, confirm this thing means and how. Tell us how it will be done.
Because these are some of the questions.
But as far as it is in the bill,
yes,
as far as I'm concerned, it is in the bill. I will engage based on that. How are you going to achieve? Those are the questions I will ask as a northern Nigeria. How will you exclude them? 2, minimum wage. People earning minimum wage. All of them are exempted from this. So if that will happen, it means we are now addressing those at the lower strata of society. Okay? That means we won't be impacted. Businesses. About 60% of Nigerian businesses have been confirmed pay taxes.
Yes.
And which comes to the issue of Naseni, TEDFund, and all that are being run by taking taxes. And the logic here is not about scrapping Naseni. If you go to other countries, including UAE and others, you fund these projects through endowments and other methodologies, not by taxing. Because when you tax businesses, what do? They pass the costs.
But you know, Baba, the reason why we have some of these agencies was because of the failure of the system. They now say, okay, let's have special.
Thank you very much.
Now, if you go to most universities now, you will see more than 90% of their projects funded by TEDFund, right? Now TEDFund is going. This NELFund you are talking about, in the next maybe few years, if NELFund, I mean, you give the loans to people and they are unable to get jobs to repay.
Can I land, Hamza? Can I land, please? This TEDFund and NIDA and NECG, they don't belong to Tinubu. With due respect to President.
But he wants them to leave.
If he wants, should we now allow it by saying we throw it? Why don't we put a counter and say, these are the provisos?
Okay, so this is what you think the
TEDFund is not going because it's doing ABC. If you are taking out TEDFund, what is the alternative? Now, you see, Nigerians sometimes forget that we have the right. You see, that is why this political class are playing yo-yo with us. We are the people that should determine what happens in a democracy, not the other way around. The situational awareness and political awareness of the elites is what will drive that conversation. Like you said, the poor people don't know what is going on. So if we engage now and say, these are the conditions for us. TEDFund is not going. This one is not going. And you need to give us a proviso within this act that you are good at, that will not come tomorrow, you come through the window and erase them.
All right,
so we can go through this, like I say, consult, engage, debate, and negotiate.
All right, thank you very much, Baba. Yes, viewers, I think it's time now for us to open the telephone lines for you to also contribute to this conversation. Don't use foul language. Use the telephone number that will be displayed on your screen and then call to share your own thought on whether this tax reform bill should be or should not be? We are waiting for your calls as we continue the conversation in the studio. Hamayaro, some Nigerians, I have received some text messages already that they didn't see anything from fuel subsidy removal. After, when they were cooking it, they said subsidy was only benefiting the elite.
Yes.
It is not benefiting the poor in any way. Now they are saying this tax, they are going to only tax the rich. They will not tax the poor. Somebody said he has his doubts, but he wants you in the studio who are enlightened to tell him whether the tax reform bills will do a kind of magic that subsidy removal was unable to do.
There is not going to be any magic from the tax removal, from the tax reform.
So you also believe that is deception?
As it stands now, I have agreed to the good side of the tax reform. I have my reservation about those gray areas, and I want the government to enlighten people properly about this tax reform. This is my major concern, Alhaji Hamza. I don't want because now, when you tax, for example, now this increment they're talking about, that by next year it will be 10%, then preceding, which is 2026 to 2029, it will be 12.5%, and then it will rise subsequently to go 15. And now, anything of this nature, it gets watered down to the consumer.
No matter how you customize
exactly, because now if I am buying, for example, a bag of flour I go to a shop, a mall, I'm supposed to take it at 50,000, and I pay 10% VAT, and it raises that, I take cost of transportation.
So definitely.
He also charges me. I bring it down to my shop. Of course, it will affect the price of that.
Very sad.
And the consumer gets to feel it.
Okay.
So when you want to talk about these things, my major concern is there are economic loopholes in the country.
And they should address them.
The president address such loopholes.
All right,
because
Hamayaro.
If you do that, you will encourage a lot of activities that will put more money in the hands of Nigeria.
Okay, we have our first caller yes on the program. Hello, okay, Shamaki is on the line. Welcome to the program, Shamaki.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. How are you, Shamaki?
Yes, good evening, all of you. I am saying good evening to your guest.
Okay, in the studio, Hamayaro and Baba Yusuf.
Shamaki calling from National State.
Okay, go ahead. What is your take? Where is it about the gray areas? Are you supporting?
I'm highly impressed with what I am hearing from your guest.
Thank you.
I am supporting what your guests are discussing, seriously. And I hope this discussion will continue. And with this type of discussion, Nigerians and Northerners particularly will become more aware of where the federal government is going on. And I hope our leaders, our representatives at the Senate will understand what Northerners are going through. Yes, like one of your guests said, it's not to wipe it completely, but it has to be allowed to pass through some processes. And with those processes, people will become more aware of the importance of the bill. I hope this deliberation will continue.
All right, Shamaki, thank you very much. All right.
People will become more aware of what is happening.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Shamaki. Yes, Baba Yusuf, I will keep interrupting you because we want also Nigerians to contribute. You can see people are happy, but it's like we are trying to proffer solution instead of the debate, the needless debate around the National Assembly. Yes, Hamayaro said, whether we like it or not, because just like the fuel subsidy, you can see now, personally, on several occasions, I asked those in authority that, look, the promise, or what you told Nigerians before was that fuel subsidy only subsidizes the rich. Yes. But at the end of the day, the rich, they are still riding their Homer, jeeps and all that. They don't care. But the poor can't even go to work now. Yes. But he said he's also thinking that this claim that the VAT will not affect the poor and all that is like a gimmick of sorts. Do you agree?
Well, for me, I've read the bill and I've stated my position by writing and in many cameras. And I still maintain my position. We should subject it through a process and ask them the question. This is a legislation. You see, part of the problem of Nigeria is not the governors alone. It's not the legislators. It's people like Hamaru, myself, and the elites.
But we are tired
of talking. Let me land.
Yes.
Let me land.
This
is what we do. We talk. We only talk. This public hearing, you will go and check. We will not go there. At the end of the day, they will do RNG and pass the bill without critical inputs of subject matter experts. So what I'm saying is this.
Yes.
We can sit there and be doing analysis on TV. The fact is, unless we engage the process, we cannot know the facts, we cannot put them on the spot, we cannot make statements of demand and hold them accountable for that. And that is the issue.
So we have to go to the
We should go through the process and critique it, and where we don't want, we should say it should be taken out. Okay. That is my position.
Thank you very much. Yes, we have another caller. Welcome to the program. Hello? Yes, hello? Okay, we lost the call, of course. Yes, as I said, I will keep interrupting you. Yes. About public hearing, I know that we have written quite a number of stories, and we spoke with experts. They believe that it's not about public hearing, but about going back to the drawing board. But before you answer, let me pick this call. Yes, hello?
Hello.
Good evening.
Hello?
Yes, hello. Who is on the line?
I'm Adam Jimba from Bidda.
From Bidda, Niger State. Okay, good evening, Adam. Welcome to the program.
Yes, I'm taking the cognizance of what the discussants are saying.
Yes. So what is your take?
In fact, it is well educated, particularly the two professors that have
Yeah, that we actually hosted earlier, Dr. Kabiru Dandawayas and Hussein, yes.
I really appreciate what they are trying to what they are analyzing. But then the government is rushing over this taxation.
So what do you think government should do? Because government, you know, it has 4 years, already 1.5 years gone.
Government should throw it open so that people will have input, just like the way the two people now are now chipping in to what the government is supposed to do.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Adamu.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, yes, Hamaero, I think it's in line with the question I asked. Public hearings, some people are, you know, expressing skepticism that public hearing at the National Assembly alone will not suffice. Will you advocate that we should go back to the grassroots, maybe at the local government level?
Representation at every state level is the governor. He speaks for his people. We have senators, 3 from each state. We have members, House of Reps. Now, since the governors have partially spoken,
yes,
even though we
through the NEC, National Economic Council,
even though we have so much doubt as to their concerns, sincerity over governance, but at this point, it is important we listen to them. Yes, we've not been holding them to account. This is, you know, this is like a shortfall from our end, but public hearing, just like the way you have subject matter experts, 2 of them from, I don't know from which state they come,
yes,
but if you look at
one
today,
from Nasarawa, the other from
every state in this country, from every state you have subject matter experts. Those states should rally these people, bring these politicians across board with the governor, get representative from each local government, well-enlightened, educated, you know, minds, come together, agree on this thing, let the town hall, let the public hearing start from each state. Develop, get your own position on the matter, which means you have spoken for your state. Transmit it to the government, and other states will do the same, and this thing can be done because of the importance of this bill. This thing can be given a time frame of, let's say, a week or 2 or a month. It's not a bad idea. Right. Because just like other people are saying, we've spent 25 years arguing on the PIB.
Yes.
Yes, it was not important to have done that. But somebody would tell you, what has it even done to me? Okay. In fact, left to me, I should have been in the era of...
Good evening.
All right. Yes, it's like we have a guest who is...
Good evening.
Yes, you are welcome. Welcome. Welcome to the program. Who is on the line?
We are doing a very good job.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You are enlightening us, Trust TV.
Thank you. May we know you, please? Yes.
This is Mohammed from Jigawa.
Okay, Mohammed. Welcome to the program.
This tax reform bill, thank you very much for enlightening us.
We are honored. So do you have anything to say?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Do you have anything to say?
Nigerians.
Do you have anything to say?
I have something to say.
Okay, go ahead.
This so-called consultants of the tax reform bill.
Yes.
Who are they? Who are they?
Big question.
These consultants. Who are they? Are they the ones that doing in Lagos that they brought them here to do for the federal government or what? Because there are some tax consultants in Lagos that collect IGR of Lagos State.
Alphabet. Okay.
That company belongs to Tunumbu. Are they the one that are going to start collecting for the federal government?
We met with them, and clearly they said there is nothing like consultancy in the collection of taxes.
Because I lived in Lagos for almost 43 years. I know those companies.
Yes. Malam Mohammed, to answer your question. Thank you very much. Thank you for calling, and then I will allow Baba Yusuf, of course, to answer. But as I said, we had conversation. I'm not holding brief for anyone. They said at the end of the day, it is not consultants that will collect the taxes. But I don't know. You mentioned is the Alphabet? I heard you saying something.
No, I think he's trying to Alphabet because it's one of the burning issues that was raised even by Southerners to say, is this going because there are some provisions there that suggest as if, you know, some kind of commission would be collected by commission agents.
Yes.
And stakeholders were saying, are we going to see another scenario of Alpha Beta, which was adequately answered by the chairman of the presidential committee to clarify that section. And that is what I'm talking about. We should continue raising the issue so that we understand what is in the bill. I don't know whether there were previous encounters or relationship between Alpha Beta and the members of the presidential committee, but like every other Nigerian, I know when the list was reeled out, and you can check it online, there is a representation from all the geopolitical zones, northwest, northeast, north central, southeast, southwest. Over almost 100 Nigerians are members of this committee from various diverse backgrounds and areas of expertise. That is what I know about the presidential committee. They should speak for themselves. But coming back to the burning issue of this tax and how we should go forward, Hamero spoke about the engagements. And I want to remind us, since we are entitling us, so that we can be on the same page on this. This committee was inaugurated 1 year and 2 months or so ago. The governors were aware. The legislators were aware. From what we have heard in the public forum, they tried to engage the governors, but the governors block them out, right? Let's assume, without conceding, that didn't happen. What were the governors doing for 1 year? If the interest of their people is so important for them, within that 1 year, they were collecting double allocation, talking about subsidy. Within that 1 year, we had band A, band B. Within 1 year, we have flotation of Naira. Both the members of the legislature and the governors, they didn't say anything. The vagaries of insecurity, they didn't say anything. So now that we have agreed we should consult, do we need to beg senators and House of Reps to go and organize town hall meetings?
So you are now saying they should go and organize?
No, it's
but there is also a fundamental problem.
What is the fundamental problem?
If the National Economic Council will actually push this back, don't you think is the highest advisory body apart from the National Council of State, right?
I agree.
Don't you think the president should actually look at the caliber of people there, the vice president, the governors, and all that, to say, okay, in the interest of harmony, so that there won't be mutual suspicion, let me concede and say I'm withdrawing this bill.
I don't want you to eat into my time. Let me interject because you see,
and I have 1 minute for you because I want to,
I don't want to tell the president or governors how they engage. When they were sorting themselves out, I was not there. My point is this issue, we should all read the bill, we should speak to those that don't understand the bill and come back and engage so that if we are throwing out the bill, we throw it out. If we are negotiating some aspect of it for it to fly, it flies. But we should not put our destiny in the hands of governors or senators. When it suits them, they play the game. So I don't want to be part of those politics they are playing at that level. As a citizen today, what I'm telling Nigerians is shine your eyes, read the bill, engage, and then hold your legislators and governors to account. How they come back to the subnational to deal with this. Hey, if this bill is thrown out, there is no issue. It is the yearnings and aspirations of Nigerians, which includes me and my family. But the point is, the Northerners should not sit and say, throw away the bill. We should engage and position ourselves so that if it is to go, it will go.
Hamero, I know you want to talk, but let me take this last call and then give you the last chance to wrap up. Yes. Hello, who's on the line? Hello?
Hello.
Yes, quickly, who is on the line, and let's have your take.
Zakari.
Okay, from where?
From Kogi State.
Okay, reduce the volume on your TV set and then speak up.
Okay.
We are with you, we are running out of time.
Hello.
Okay, go ahead, Zakari. Go ahead. Oh, sadly we lost Zakari. Yes, Hamero, we are rounding up. So what is your final take on this, and what do you think?
My final take on this is, I have agreed to what my brother says here on his last submission. My own stand on the other side is, let the president slow down, particularly on this reform bill.
Okay.
Pause a little, allow the people to decide, but go back and bring about reforms that will stabilize our currency. Bring about reforms that will make energy affordable for Nigerians. Bring about the reforms with this kind of momentum I'm seeing on the tax reform. Put the same momentum in bringing about the reforms that will bring about food sufficiency and then tackle insecurity. Because if you address this, you will have so much from your citizens and you can take enough to run the government from them. But now that they don't have anything, Nigerians don't have anything, Hamza. We don't have anything.
So it's
hyperbolically, I'm just saying we don't have anything. People live hand to mouth. If you earn $1 million naira, it's nothing in this country. It's nothing. So you cannot come and start telling me you want to increase VAT. You cannot be rushing me to do. Yes, part of the bill is good. Part of it is not well articulated. So please, if truly the interest is for Nigerians and Nigeria, the president should slow down.
All right.
However, if there is anything hidden, this is not the best way to address, problems. The president should listen to Nigerians. We have spoken, and at the same time, to go back to what the governors are doing so that we can check both at the same time and help the situation. Governors should as well use the resources available with them to, to help the federal government in achieving all
right, Baba, just 30 seconds, please, because we have run out of time. Okay. Your final words.
Well, my final word is, like I said, let us consult, engage, debate, and negotiate.
Thank you very much, Baba Yusuf, strategist, policy advisor, and group CEO of Global Investment and Trade Company, for coming to the program.
Thank you.
And then Nuruddin Hamero, an entrepreneur and politician. Thank you for asking the president to tarry a while and then rush in bringing back Soko to the Nigerians.
Thank you.
Yes, we thank you for coming to the program. And viewers, of course, earlier in the program, we hosted Professor Hussein Itukuru, a professor of policy analysis from Nasarawa State University, who gave us a background of everything about taxes. And then Professor Kabudi Nandago, a lecturer of accountancy from Bayero University, who also spoke about inheritance and other contentious issues and how to tax the rich instead of the poor. Of course, today, Sunday, special package for you, 2 hours. We hope you enjoyed the conversation and you found it engaging and informative. And be sure to join Daily Politics airing every weekday and our special package on Friday, of course. And then on Sunday, as we have it today, we hope next week you will join us for more interesting packages of Daily Politics and Sunday Politics. Bye-bye for now. I'm Hamza Idris.
The Fulani lost out because the grazing reserves were depleted.
Are you not asking questions about the arms and ammunitions? What is the source? How are they getting it?
Gawan's major task was to keep Nigeria one.
I call on those who claim to love Nigeria and the Igbos to face realities and advise the people of the East Central State to lay down their arms and return to the fold.
With the intention of making it a multi-purpose dam, but majorly serving as an electricity generation installation.
The efficiency on that dam is only 60%, and that we can only do, 1,525 megawatts of electricity.
Abubakar Shekau, their ruthless leader, showed no mercy to his victims with his campaign. He caught the attention of the world after taking 276 Chibok schoolgirls hostage on 14th April 2014.
I mean, Shekau is not doing the war alone. But he was the head, very influential and powerful one. Now that he's out, the body is still there.
The nurse that was missing for almost 9 to 10 months after that time, her corpse was found right in the office inside a dustbin.
The investigation so far points only to Dr. Abbas.
We need justice. All we need is justice.
So people are asking whether actually they have dropped that ideology, or is it because of hunger, deprivation, and the firepower of the Nigerian military that made them to surrender? These are critical questions that people are asking.
We move on to Kano, an ancient city with antecedents of northern civilization, housing some of the surviving textile mills in Nigeria.
What culture really is? No. The Jaba Festival is also not selling, it's not only selling our cultural heritage, it is a bonding factor.
And has a declaration of love to the paramount ruler of Ijebu people, Awujale of Ijebu, Oba Sikiru Adetono.
Daily Trust News Center. This is the News Hour.
On News Hour tonight, police foil kidnapping attempt, rescue 20 victims in Katsina State. Jos residents sound the alarm on Nigeria's declining reading culture. NDLEA nabs engineer for concealing drugs in pressure machines. On the foreign scene, John Mahama wins Ghana's presidential election as ruling party's Bawumia concedes. Hello and welcome to the News Hour tonight on Trust TV. I am Aisha Salihu. We begin with security matters. Operatives of the Katsina State Police Command successfully foiled 2 kidnapping attempts and rescued 20 victims in Jibia and Faskari local government areas. Several bandits reportedly fled with gunshot injuries following encounters with the police. The first incident occurred on December 7, 2024 at Kwanar Makera along the Katsina Magamar Jibia Road, where bandits armed with AK-47 rifles opened fire on a moving vehicle. Acting on a tip-off, police operatives from Jibia Divisional Headquarters swiftly responded, engaging the bandits in a gun duel and forcing them to abandon their mission. In a similar incident, later that evening at Marabar Bangori along the Funtua-Gusau Road, bandits ambushed a passenger vehicle. Police operatives stormed the scene and overpowered the attackers in a fierce exchange, leading to the safe rescue of all passengers. ASP Abubakar Sadiq, the police spokesperson, confirmed that one of the rescued victims sustained severe injuries from the assailants and is currently receiving treatment in the hospital. Commending the officers' bravery, CP Aliyu Musa praised their professionalism and urged them to maintain momentum in combating crime. He reiterated the command's commitment to ensuring the safety and security of the state's residents. The Taraba State Police Command, in collaboration with local vigilantes, successfully rescued 3 kidnapped victims and hurt, following a distress call from Sibre village in Aridokola local government area last Friday. The spokesperson for the command, SP Usman Abdullahi, stated that the operation commenced around 14:30 hours when operatives from the area command in Jalingo alongside vigilantes responded swiftly. The team pursued the kidnappers to Dutse Mubayu near Kona Mountains, where a fierce gun duel ensued. Overwhelmed by the superior firepower of the police and vigilantes, the kidnappers abandoned their victims and fled. The rescued victims, identified as Idris Adamu, Umar Usman and Ibrahim Usman, were safely recovered and reunited with their families. During the operation, the police recovered an AK-47 magazine loaded with 35 rounds of live ammunition left behind by the fleeing kidnappers. The Commissioner of Police, Ukachi P. Opara, praised the officers and vigilantes for their swift and collaborative efforts, reaffirming the command's commitment to safeguarding lives and property across the state. The Federal Capital Territory Police Command has successfully rescued a 4-year-old child, Hope Evans, abducted from Port Harcourt and found here in Abuja. Our correspondent, Neil Sampson, reports on the emotional reunion of the child with his biological mother at the FCT Police Command. Take a look.
The Commissioner of Police, FCT Command, Olatunji Disu, revealed that the child was adopted on the 31st of October, 2024. He explained the sequence of events that led to the rescue.
So the policemen in Port Harcourt started frantic work on it before finally suspecting that the suspect may have escaped to Abuja. The police and the younger sister of the mother of the child contacted us and we started work on it. It took us 2 weeks of serious work, serious search, for us to finally locate where Blessing Okoye was hiding with the young man.
The prime suspect, Blessing Okoye, confessed to adopting the child from the school on the day of the incident.
I took the boy from the school, though they went to the same school with my son. So when I went to the school to pick my son from school that day, because he do always play with my son, and each time I come to go pick my son, he do come close to me. He do come close to me, so that 30th of October, when I went to pick my son from the school, though I already located from Abuja, from Port Harcourt to Abuja, due with our conversation with my guy, that I should locate from Port Harcourt to Abuja State. So I already arranged, I already taken a book, buy a ticket that will take us. So I was already waiting for my son to close from school to enroll me make my journey by 3 o'clock. So that as I went to pick my son from school, he do come close again. He said, Mom, I'm so hungry, I want to eat. I said, what do you want to eat? He said, he wants to eat egg. I said, for now, for the economic of the state, I don't always buy egg. Say, for no while, I will buy the egg for you. So I already bought the egg for him. That was when I took the child down to Lasoro State, that is Nyanya.
At the emotional handover of the child to his mother,
will you become a policeman?
Blessing Evans expressed overwhelming joy at being reunited with her son.
To say thank you to the police who has done this great job, and this boy is found. I cannot sleep. I want to use this opportunity to thank the whole officers that are here, that God will reward them, bless them, and give them more wisdom for this work.
While commending his officers for their efforts, Commissioner Olatunji Disu used the opportunity to caution school proprietors to prioritize the safety of children under their care. He also advised parents to educate their children on the dangers of interacting with strangers. Noel Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
More on security matters. A clash between herdsmen and youth in Lano village, Yamaltu Deba local government area of Gombe State, has left one person dead and 2 others injured. Gombe Police spokesperson ASP Buhari Abdullahi confirmed the incident, stating it began when Lano youth barricaded the Lano Deba road on Saturday, attacking herdsmen and killing 5 cows. The youth accused the herdsmen of seizing farmers' phones and blocking farm produce transportation. Efforts by police to restore calm failed as the youth pursued the herdsmen into the bush, sparking violence. 3 people were shot with bows and arrows, and 1 later died from stomach injuries at the hospital. Abdullahi assured residents that security personnel and vigilantes are patrolling the area to maintain peace. And to the south-south region of the country, the Okwama community in Ughelli South local government area of Delta State has issued a 7-day ultimatum to the federal government and the Nigerian army to release its detained leaders. This comes after the alleged death of its President General Pa James Ogoroko in military detention. The community staged a peaceful but passionate protest on Sunday, demanding justice for their leader's death and the release of 6 others arrested in August. They warned that failure to act would compel them to block the River Niger as a form of disobedience, of civil disobedience. The community leaders vowed to take necessary actions to protect their rights and called on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the Nigerian army to ensure justice and avert a crisis. Okwama has been in the spotlight following the arrests of its leaders between August 18 and 20, 2024. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede, has given assurances that the Army will achieve successive operations in the fight against insurgency in the northeast and northwest part of Nigeria. He stated this after an operational engagement with senior officers and officers of Operation Hadin Kai at the Maimalari cantonment in Maiduguri. The Army Chief promised that welfare, logistics and support would be provided to the theater of war. He also explained that technology would be adapted to curb the threats of insurgency, banditry, and kidnapping in the region. General Oluyede also threw light on the discussions with senior officers and officers of Operation Hardin Kai, which included a switch in operations and other reevaluated strategies. He expressed optimism that different results would soon be experienced at the various battle fronts.
Going to be new year is that we need to reappraise our operations so that we can get a different result. We don't want to go into operations whereby we'll be doing what we've been doing before and getting same result. So we want a different result. So we've sat down, we have reappraised our strategies. We're going to bring in more impetus into our operations, bring in more platforms to support the soldiers so that they can do their work well. That's why I am here. And I think I've achieved that aim. So we're going to go back to Abuja, see how we can add more to their platforms, support them in the operations, and I'm sure we'll get better results.
In other news, the reading culture in Nigeria is rapidly declining, sparking concern among educationists, librarians, and students. These stakeholders warn that this downward trend could have severe consequences on both human and capital development in the country. Ado Musa reports.
Nigeria is now ranked among the lowest countries when it comes to fostering a reading culture. According to the World Culture Statistics, which tracks the reading habits of nations, only 2 African countries, Egypt and South Africa, are considered to have significant reading cultures. In Jos, academic stakeholders believe that despite having established libraries and reading centers, many Nigerians are simply not taking advantage of these resources. They argue that a lack of interest in reading is a major hurdle in the country's effort to improve its reading culture.
The truth is that there are a lot of distractions, and that is why we see it as actually a problem to reading. But the truth is that as an organization, the National Library of Nigeria is a promoter of reading because this is one of our mandates. And every year we go in for a campaign to promote reading. We have created a literacy center in some remote areas.
If you look around the library here, the University of Jos have done its best by providing resources, talking about books, printed form, electronic books, electronic resources are all available, for the students to patronize, But then, as indicated, the poor reading culture is actually very glaring.
Some students also voiced their concerns about the decline of reading habits in the country and its potential impact on their academic and potential growth.
Generally, reading is good, right? And then for you to not have a poor reading culture, it means people don't see the value in reading. And so it will reflect in several things you do. Right. So one of the things that reading helps you to do is to build focus and to build discipline.
Persistent reading before examination, like when you read after class, you should make your researches. You should review some other things related to what you learned in class. Before exams, it will be easy for you.
At times, we students, sincerely speaking, some of us are lazy. Despite the fact that even though the resources are available on the shelves, are lazy in cultivating that reading culture.
So, what can be done to reverse this trend and encourage a stronger reading culture in Nigeria?
I also advise parents. Parents can buy gifts of books instead of buying sweet chocolate, biscuit, and the rest. I think buying books to your children will also make these children to read. I also want, gone are the days when our parents would sit us down, read stories for us. I think that too can also help. Why? Because by the time you sit your children down, read stories to them, share, you also challenge them to also read a story and then explain it to you.
Educationists warn that the country's poor reading culture is depriving young people of the critical thinking and analytical skills necessary for personal and academic success. They stress the importance of nurturing a reading habit in order to prepare future generations for the challenges ahead. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
The Emir of Arugungu, Muhammad Samaila Mera, has advised the 19 governors from the northern region to use the advantage of World Bank-assisted project of Adolescent Girls Initiative for Learning and Empowerment to improve the deteriorating enrollment of girls for basic education in the region. He stated this while speaking to journalists in Bauchi after a two-day meeting aimed at addressing the challenge of out-of-school children. Trustee Adamu Imam reports.
The significant number of out-of-school children in recent times from various statistics shows that the region will continue to suffer setbacks in the education sector. As a fallout from the above, the chairman of the Northern Traditional Leaders Committee and Emir of Arugungu is calling in concerned stakeholders to address the menace for the betterment of the northern zone.
And all religious leaders who are present on the initial planning meeting myself that the project is coming online, and this is the target. Unfortunately, that was not done, and we are all witnesses to some of the pronouncements from some of our claims, especially from this part of the country, which tended to mobilize against the project. And we were all concerned. The seminars said we should do something about it. And alhamdulillah, our governors, all the governors in northern Nigeria, felt it's something that is desirable. So we invited the ministry, the unit responsible for it, and all other partners involved to discuss and educate everyone that should be educated about what actually the process is all about, so that misconceptions can be addressed, questions can be answered as and when they arise. And alhamdulillah, we have now covered the northwest and the north central.
The national coordinator of Agile Project, Hajia Amina Buba Haruna, appealed to parents to take advantage of the project and allow their wards attend classes, saying the region can achieve meaningful results in enrollment and retention of girls up to the tertiary level. Parents should allow their children to be enrolled in school so that we can get more qualified teachers with good productivity. Even with good parental upbringing, those who attend schools are far better when compared. So it is a wake-up call to all. And even in the Islamic curriculum, the first thing in life is to read and learn. So we must do so. Stakeholders at the meeting agree that henceforth collective effort is key to achieving the objectives of addressing the menace in the north. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
Efforts to improve the lives of persons with disabilities in Gombe State took center stage as advocates and stakeholders urged Governor Muhammadu Inuwa Yahya to sign the Persons with Disabilities Bill into law. Once enacted, the bill is expected to introduce policies aimed at improving the living standards of the disabled community, promoting their rights and inclusion, and establishing a commission dedicated to PWDs. Hassan Koli reports.
With over 15% of Gombe State estimated population living with disabilities, many individuals continue to face challenges in accessing healthcare, education, and employment opportunities. Advocates argue that the PWD's bills provide a crucial pathway toward equality and empowerment. Persons with disabilities have expressed optimism, stating that while they appreciate the government's commitment, the formal assent to the bill will greatly enhance their social well-being and inclusion in the state. The call for greater inclusion extends not only to the government, but also to the persons with disabilities themselves. Advocates encourage PWDs to actively seek out available opportunities such as skill acquisition programs, believing that with the right resources, PWDs can make significant contributions to society.
For 15 years, we are agitating, advocating for the Passage of Disability Bill, and at least out of the 5 stages in passage alone, we have crossed about 4 stages, remain the last stage. Our people should continue working hard to support themselves, to be independent. Disability is not inability. We have strong potentialities that we can display, and we should not rely on our disability to seek for excuses, but we should continue to do our best.
While persons with disabilities are urging the state governor to take action, the government also emphasizes the potential benefits for the disabled community once the bill is signed into law.
There's going to be an establishment for people with special needs, which is under my ministry. Agency for people with special needs under my ministry, of which whatever we do, they have equal right with every other person. That's why we are passing the bill, for them to have more access and benefit from international community.
The ball now lies in the governor's court. Many hope that this approval of the PWD's bill will mark the start of the brighter and more inclusive future for persons with disabilities in Gombe State. From Gombe, Hassan Koli reporting for Trust TV.
The federal government's National Agricultural Growth Scheme and Agro-Pocket Initiative, designed to boost wheat production in Nigeria, is facing serious setbacks in Jigawa State due to allegations of mismanagement in the distribution of essential farming inputs. These issues came to light during an unannounced visit by Governor Umar Namadi to input distribution centers in Birnin Kudu local government area, where farmers reported being denied access to their allocated resources. The report.
At the distribution centers, numerous beneficiaries were seen stranded, holding their allocation printouts. Many farmers alleged that inputs intended to support their wheat farming efforts were instead being sold to marketers rather than being distributed to them as promised. Received fertilizers and wheat seeds, but no agrochemicals, which are essentials for farming. They had us fill out forms for recovery before, but these times there were no forms provided. This isn't the first time this has happened. I used to walk from our village to collect these farm inputs, but this time I received nothing. The allegations were further exacerbated when agro-dealers at the centers failed to offer satisfactory explanations to the governor's inquiries, raising further concerns about the integrity of the distribution process.
The observation we made is that there is a problem with some of the agro-dealers. In the first instance, they are not redeeming. They don't allow the people to redeem their alert, and some of them are not even there. Especially here, I came here, nobody is here, and it's a redeeming center. Therefore, we are going to report them to the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, because this wheat program is a time bound, and as long as these agro dealers will not come and issue the input to the farmers, then we are going to waste our money. The federal government is going to waste its money, and then these people are not doing the right thing.
In a related incident at the distribution center in Kayawa local government area, Governor Namadi ordered the arrest of Isiaku Katanga, chairman of the All Farmers Association of Nigeria, for allegedly defrauding farmers by inflating input prices amounting to millions of nairas. Wheat farming experts emphasize that planting must occur between November 14 and December 14 to ensure optimal production timelines. However, with delays and allegations of misconduct at the distribution centers, farmers involved in the program are growing disheartened and uncertain about meeting the critical deadline. The success of the federal government's wheat program in Jigawa now hinges on swift interventions to address these challenges and restore farmers' confidence in the process.
You're watching the News Hour tonight on Trust TV. Still ahead. As cost of living increases, parents rethink cost of weddings in Gombe State. More stories when we return. Stay with us.
Welcome to 30 Minutes with Manir Dan Ali. It's a program where we ask some of the tough questions in order to tease out the right answers from our guests.
The blame game has to stop. Buhari is no longer the president of this country and coming from the same party.
As a country in Nigeria, we have violated the norms
In line with the objective of Trust Television, we believe in the power of stories. Stories that resonate, uplift, and motivate.
Okay, oh, because you have money, you have to spend it. No, it should be based on needs, and there should be layers of oversight. 2024, FRS will spend 171 billion on personnel alone.
In this program, we bring you the guests who can shed light on issues and questions of the day. Guests who are relevant to the topic at hand.
If Western education or education as a whole do not make males morally bankrupt, what makes it different that it will make a female morally bankrupt?
Each week, we delve deep into topical, social, political, or economic issues and get the unique take of our guests who provide useful insight into the matter.
We arrest a ship, we blast it. Unfortunately, it's a bad thing because pollution and all this, but we have found out that that's the only way.
50% of the emissions. Why don't you remove it so that it gives us the opportunity to also be able to put some, even if it's 10%. By the time we put 10%, the whole of Africa will be industrialized.
At Trust Television, we promise to keep you engaged and informed through compelling and insightful conversations where revelations are made and hidden truths are uncovered. Tune in every week for 30 minutes with Manir Dan Ali, where probing questions are asked to tease out gems of information that may otherwise remain obscured.
It's nice to have you join us again on the News Hour tonight on Trust TV. Let's take a look at some of our top stories again. Police foil kidnapping attempt, rescue 20 victims in Katsina State. Jos residents sound the alarm on Nigeria's declining reading culture. And to other stories, moral values are the standards of or principles that a society holds and guide the behavior of its members, but they are more critical to the sustenance of such standards. In light of diminishing moral standards in Nigeria in recent years, experts are advocating restoration of value system in Nigeria based on lost cultural ethics and societal norms. Trust TV's Adamuima tells us more.
The erosion of value system in Nigeria has led to a decline in moral character and increase in antisocial behavior. This includes growing disregard for rules leading to the indiscipline and growing disrespect to the constituted authority. Religion largely impacts on societal values, and adherence to its teaching could affect the entire system. When people embrace modernization, particularly through the use of social media, it often led to changes in societal behavior and the erosion of moral values. In such cases, households must remain vigilant over their members. God created us and granted us the wisdom to lead others. It is essential to monitor those who interact with your family. The mother alone cannot be solely responsible for raising the children. A man must have the courage to address issues within the entire family. On the other hand, families play a big role in molding the society for the better. This mirrors the stance of the National Orientation Agency towards advocacy for attitudinal change in all ramifications.
Bring back those values in the society, we have to go back to the family institution. Build the family institution. If, for instance, you are going to be given some stipend to the family that has no income, you have to make sure that the family institution is strong enough to sustain those value institutions. Because when we have out-of-school children, when we have breaking home, all our social vices is as a result of the broken home of the family. And this is why the society will not even think about the values of the society, will not even think about the culture.
In this integrity clause, morals are being taught to the students how to live, because the students, the youths, are the future leaders. So we want to inculcate a sense of integrity in them so that when they grow, tomorrow they will be good leaders.
The loss of moral standard has been eaten away at social fabric of society through pervasive influence of some factors and adoption of corrupting influences of westernization. This has led to a loss of regard for local culture, which can be reversed if there is focus once again on rebuilding those values. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
Adamawa State Governor Ahmadu Fintiri has signed a law to repeal and establish new districts in the state. This follows the passage of the bill by the State Assembly. The formal signing took place at his office, where Governor Fintiri announced that the number of districts will now total 83. Trustee Gibson Swadigo reports from Yola.
The Adamawa State Assembly, through the clerk, forwarded the bill to Governor Ahmadu Umar Fintiri for assent. Assenting the bill, Governor Ahmadu Umar Fintiri expressed hope that the new law, which creates additional districts, will help reduce criminal activities in the state. He also announced that henceforth the salaries of district heads and their staff will be paid by the local government councils and will be reviewed periodically to align with current economic conditions. He reiterated the government's commitment to addressing the needs of the people and fostering the overall development of the state.
Everything that we're doing, it is what our people ask, and we're answerable to them because they are the ones who gave us this mandate. And one good thing that we have to be aware is that we're no longer in 18th and 19th century. Today we're in 21st century. So the defense and the demands of the emerging times must be what we will focus. It must be what we will ensure that we do to our people.
In a related event, Governor Fintiri has sworn in Anatu Kadala as the chairperson of the Adamawa State House of Assembly Commission. She was sworn in along with 4 other members. During the swearing-in ceremony, the governor stated that their selection was based on demonstrated competence and urged the chairperson to leverage her experience for the betterment of the commission. He expressed confidence in her ability to lead and encourage the team members to approach assembly matters seriously, without bias, and to ensure fairness for all staff in their duties.
I want to assure you of my total support and to let you know that you were carefully selected based on your pedigree, your background, and experience as a former legislator both at the state and at the national level. And I believe you will all bring your experience to bear on the affairs of the staff matters in the State Assembly.
Newly sworn-in chairperson Anatu Kadala thanked Governor Fintri for the opportunity to serve the state. She pledged to utilize her experience along with our fellow members to operate within the Commission's rules and regulations for the state's advancement.
We want to say thank you for choosing us out of the many people of Adamawa State to join you in this work, in this excellent history making in this state.
The oath of office was administered by Barrister Afrey Mujingi, the Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice of the state. Gibson Soadugo, Trust TV News, Yola.
Meanwhile, Governor Umaru Fintiri has reaffirmed his dedication to fostering peace and unity among the diverse ethno-religious communities in Adamawa State. He spoke on Sunday at a non-denominational Christmas carol organized by the Adamawa State chapter of the Christian Association of Nigeria. Represented by the Deputy Governor, the Governor emphasized the importance of unity in promoting harmonious coexistence, pointing out that peace was vital for sustainable development and the overall progress in the state. In this spirit, he encouraged Nigerians to embrace the Christmas season with prayer and reflection, seeking divine guidance to help navigate the current economic challenges facing the nation. Chairman of the Adamawa State Christian Association of Nigeria, Manzo, commended Governor Fintiri for his exemplary leadership, noting that it is characterized by fairness and inclusivity. This, he said, would inspire hope for a brighter future in the political landscape of Nigeria.
This is Christmas time. A lot of us might be traveling and a lot of us might be having reasons to be out of our homes later than we expect. The governor also says we are all the security agents that we need to be. You must be alert. You must pay a lot of surveillance around yourself and your family and everyone. We must be security conscious and report whatever we see that is not in order.
For civil servants and political office holders, allow me to remind you that there are guidelines and laws that provide a framework for what is expected of you. Be diligent and faithful to duty for meritorious service. In the same vein, the government should ensure that processes of employment, processes of promotions, and processes of appointments are fair, are transparent, and based on merit.
The rising cost of living is compelling many families in Gombe State to reconsider traditional wedding practices. In response, both parents and Islamic clerics are exploring ways to simplify wedding rituals in order to ease the financial burden on the families involved. Economic hardships have made it increasingly difficult for the bride's family to bear the cost of furniture and other domestic items, leading to calls for the groom to take on more responsibility. Hassan Koli reports from Gombe.
In House of Fulani traditions, weddings have long been a time of joy and celebration. However, for many families, the financial strain tied to traditional wedding requirements is becoming overwhelming. Stakeholders agree that the current economic realities are forcing a shift in these customs. Traditionally, the bride's family is responsible for providing furniture, kitchenware, and other essential domestic items to prepare her for marriage. However, the skyrocketing cost of these items have made it difficult for many families to fulfill these traditional obligations, pushing them into financial strain.
Iyayen yara, ‘ya'ya mata, in suka tashi aurarwa, suna jin jikin da baka tunani.
The best solution is for both parties to take into account the economic conditions and work together to ensure that no one suffers from the marriage arrangements. This tradition is no longer practical and should end for the benefit of everyone.
Durowa da sauran abubuwa duka
Islamic clerics in the state are leading effort to simplifying wedding requirements. They are encouraging families to focus on the essentials and to avoid unnecessary expenses, ensuring that marriage remains accessible for both the bride and groom. Islam promotes simplicity in marriage. We are urging families to reduce unnecessary costs and focus on what truly matters, making marriage accessible to all. The groom can also share the responsibility of providing domestic tools, as this is part of building a home together. I know of a father who sold his shop just to marry off his daughter. There are many cases like this. In the current economic climate, such sacrifices are unsustainable. Fathers should reconsider their approach and follow Islamic teachings. Community leaders, marriage counselors, and other stakeholders believe that simplifying wedding rituals will not only ease financial pressures, but also encourage young people to marry without unnecessary delay. However, some youth argue that it will be a taboo for them to marry a woman whose parents cannot provide the traditional wedding formalities. I cannot marry a woman unless her parents are willing to fulfill the wedding formalities as dictated by Hausa Fulani traditions. If they do not, it will become a subject of gossip within the community, leading to potential social consequences. As discussions continue, families and clerics remain hopeful that these changes will foster a more practical, cooperative approach to weddings. This, they believe, will ensure that weddings continue to be a celebration of unity rather than a financial burden. From Gombe, Hassan Koli reporting for Trust TV.
The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency arrested Egu Philip Inya, a 42-year-old building engineer in Enugu on December 2, 2024, for attempting to collect 7.4 kilograms of loud, a synthetic strain of cannabis concealed in imported pressure machines. The shipment had arrived at Lagos Airport but was redirected to Enugu, where Inya was arrested. In Adamawa State, NDLEA seized 511,000 tramadol pills from an abandoned Sienna vehicle after its occupants fled upon noticing they were being pursued. In Ekiti State, two suspects, Olarewaju Alale, 48, and Babatunde Kayode, 55, were arrested with 1,323 kilograms of cannabis while transporting the drug to the north. On December 6, another suspect, Adekunle Yusuf, was apprehended in Oyo State with 407 kilograms of cannabis. In Lagos State, Ramata Bola Adeyemo, a 65-year-old grandmother, was arrested on December 6 with 20.6 liters of codeine syrup, and Lawan Manga was caught on December 5 with 4.7 kilograms of cannabis and 1.3 kilograms of tramadol. A heartwarming yet challenging story has emerged from Below Orua community in Sagbama local government area of Bayelsa State. On December 4th, a family welcomed a set of male quintuplets, an extraordinary blessing that took them by surprise. The family initially expected twins, later discovered quadruplets, although an ultrasound, and finally welcomed quintuplets. Unfortunately, one of the babies passed away due to complications. Trust TV's Friday Mobowe Peter tells us more.
The mother, Mrs. Omolayo Owivia, shared her emotional journey to delivery, expressing deep gratitude to God for giving her strength throughout the process.
It was very tough, but I know God gave me that strength to stand, to be able to carry that very day. Especially the weight, that first stage, it was very tough for me. I cannot eat. vomiting, that tightness, that spit. Short, 24 hours, I will be crying, say, God, why all those kind of things there? I've been saying so many kind of things. I know it was very tough.
The father, Mr. Ebika Owebia, spoke of the mixed feelings of gratitude and concern that come with having more babies than anticipated. He extended heartfelt appreciation to the Chief Medical Director of the Federal Medical Center, Yenagoa, Dr. James Omietimi, as well as Dr. Owese, Dr. Alfo Labi, and other medical staff for their unwavering support.
I feel so great. I'm happy to welcome these beautiful, bouncing baby boys from the Almighty, made possible by God, through the doctors and the nurses who were there to provide all the care and support. Actually, we prayed to have at least twins. I never knew that it would be up to 5. But later on in the pregnancy, we went for a scan, and scan revealed 4. But when on the date of delivery, when they were delivered, and the nurses, the doctors, everybody was surprised to see an added brother, an added one, which made it 5.
While committed to providing for his children to the best of his abilities, Mr. Owebia called on the state government and other benefactors for assistance, including scholarships for the children to secure their future.
It has been so challenging, so difficult because of the harsh economy. You don't have anywhere else to go to except yourself, especially these few days. You need oxygen, you need several other drugs that are very expensive to meet up. I think that also affected one of the babies, which eventually passed on. We humbly appeal to the government, individuals, NGOs, to please render some form of assistance to help us go through this. We greatly appreciate that.
The 4 surviving babies are currently receiving care in incubators as the family navigates this extraordinary new chapter in their lives. From Yenagoa, Friday, Ebimobowe Peter, Trust TV News.
With the festive season fast approaching, the Oyo State Police Command has pledged to deliver a safe and secure Yuletide for residents and travelers alike. The Commissioner of Police, Ayodele Shunubi, announced that the command has intensified security measures and is collaborating with stakeholders to ensure a peaceful celebration. Speaking during a strategic meeting, Shunubi emphasized that law enforcement agencies are fully mobilized to address any security concerns that may arise during the holidays. He also called on the public to support the police by providing timely and credible intelligence to aid their operations.
Has always been we've been on our toes, security-wise, just because of this season, but emphatically because of the ember. The popularly known and called as classified ember period. We've started that since September, and God has seen us through September, October, and November. And safely, me and